Hello, this is Sunil Sundaraj from njvarsity.rivals.com. I'm happy to welcome in today Westwood Regional High School football senior quarterback Ian Borgersen. Thank you, Ian, for taking some time out to speak with me today.
Yeah, of course. I'm happy you brought me in and excited.
Hey, Ian, congrats on a great career there at Westwood, Regional High School. You've had some time now to think, about your senior year. What comes to your mind, first, Ian?
Um, I mean, yes, we only had 4 games this year, but
Yeah.
it felt like a whole season. I mean, our coaches did a really good job, like making it feel like every day play with your heart, play with everything you got, and that's what the whole entire team did. Me and my other friend Anthony, the other captain, we just try to like hammer this thing into players' minds that like this might be the last day you'll ever put on a uniform again. Like, just let's just get going.
Yeah. Uh, you said still put up great numbers, Ian, close to 700 yards passing, almost 150 yards rushing, but 6 touchdowns. Uh, as you said, a captain, two-time All-Conference, first-team All-Conference, Super Football, American Red All Division. I mean, when you look back, at what you were able to do, it said with the limited amount of games, I mean, that must feel really good, Ian.
Yeah, no, I mean, I do feel like I got robbed a little bit this year. I was dealing with a knee injury
Okay.
in preseason. Banged up my ACL a little bit, so that kind of sidelined me for a little bit. I missed our preseason game, but yeah, I mean, my junior year, well, I really think nobody was expecting what I did.
Yeah.
A lot of kids doubted me, which I love. So that really motivated me because my older brother, he was a big hot shot Nolan, so everyone kind of just like expected me to do big things,
Mhm.
and I had a hell of a time junior year and senior year too. I made the most of it, but junior year was definitely like the highlight, I would say, of my high school career.
Yeah, I had to ask you, Ian, heading into the season, because you didn't know if you were going to have a season. And the fact that, once you got that green light, that you guys, especially for the seniors on this team,
Yeah.
can you talk about, training was different and just talk about, that first practice and then the first game you played, what that experience was like for you and the rest of the team?
Yeah. So in the summer, obviously we started like a month and a half later. We started in July. We usually start like June 12th. Actually, we made it through 3 practices and then we got shut down for 2 weeks. A girl came down with it. She exposed a couple guys on the team. So we were down for 2 weeks. And then this year we had to do different phases. So phase one was just running and like pods, separate groups. So we had to restart phase one once we got back. And that was definitely like held a lot of like feelings in from all of us. Like we just wanted to be normal. We want to touch football. We want to like tackle. And then once we got to the first game, it was Lakeland. We were supposed to play Friday night home. Friday morning, I saw my coach in the hallway. He said, "We're not gonna have a game," and I was like, "Wow, like
Yeah.
what can get any worse?" And then our athletic director, Daniel Vivino, he did a hell of a job. He found us a game. It was still against Lakeland, but it was Sunday at like 1 p.m. And it was like the first time I've ever played a varsity football game at Sunday home, and it was awesome. I mean, like I feel like it came out of nowhere. Like
Yeah.
trying to play Friday night, like under the lights, is usually what the vibe is. And then playing Sunday, just like it was awesome. I felt like I was playing in the NFL at 1 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we
that's what
ended
I
up.
was saying. Being able to adjust, from week to week, not knowing if you're going to have a game, you put in the time, you practice, you watch film, you do everything that is essential, and then, as you say, gets turned upside down. You don't know if you're going to
Yeah.
play Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I mean, that must have been crazy for you guys. You were
Yeah,
basically in the dark.
yeah. I was walking to the bathroom with my headphone with the earpods in and like my jersey on, and I see my coach, and he's just like, "Yeah, our game's off tonight." I'm like, "Wow!"
Yeah,
Like 6 hours away from game time,
yeah,
he's getting called off. So it was tough, definitely,
yeah,
but we had to adapt and overcome what we had.
yeah.
So
That's true. I had to ask you, no fans this year, limited amount of family in the stands, much different, vibe. And, unlike, as Friday night lights or a Saturday afternoon during the fall when it's packed, the stands with fans,
mhm.
family, the marching band, cheerleaders. I mean, what was that like for you to play in that, type of surroundings? Ian?
um, I mean, it's different on the field than in the stands. I'm sure like kids
Yeah,
in the stands will like see the difference, but
yeah,
when I'm on the field, all the adrenaline's kicking in. I kind of just focus on the game. But one, my mom said one time I was like telling a kid what to do, and she said like she heard me like she was next to me, and I was like that can't be good. So so she said it's definitely like you could hear the gameplay and
yeah,
like the kids on the sideline talk way more
yeah.
clear than the pack stands. But I mean, I couldn't really tell the difference, I'll be honest, other
Yeah,
than like running out and you don't see 600 fans in
yeah.
the stands, but it is what it is. We just
Hey,
have to deal with it.
past years, what was that like for you? You know, I said Friday night lights under the bright
Oh my,
spotlight. I mean,
yeah.
and
I
on a
mean,
Saturday afternoon.
yeah.
Can you talk about that?
We only planned Friday night lights Friday night,
Yeah,
and my junior year was just insane. Like I could still picture that running out with my brother, who was the captain at the time.
yeah,
He's a 1 year older than me, and a bunch of great group of seniors. And I would do anything to go back, running out and seeing all the crazies. Like we were one of the
yeah.
best crazy sections in the county, and I definitely miss that and will miss that for the rest of my life, no doubt.
As you said, a limited schedule. Only played 4 games, but for you and the other seniors, what going to this year? Again, was there any motto? Was there any like that something that you guys wanted to accomplish going out as seniors? You know, there at Westwood Regional High School.
Yeah, so every year we have our team shirts and the
Okay.
seniors come up with a motto in the back. And this year it was me and the other captain came up with it was all in. So
Okay.
ALE, and got it. Um and we only had 6 seniors this year,
Hmm.
and two of us got a full season last year, and none of the other ones really got too much time. Justin Lamprecht, one of our linemen, was sidelined last year, shoulder injury. But me and Anthony, we kind of just like told all the seniors, we have one big group chat, like this is it for most of you guys. Like
Yeah.
most of you guys won't ever play in the field again. So every practice, try to lead. Every game, just leave it all out there, and that's what most of these kids did. So
Yeah.
I tip my caps to them. So
Hey, can you talk about your training every year, to get better and just, each and every year, but especially the last 2 seasons, what you were able to do on the field, Ian?
yeah. So my sophomore year, I actually had surgery on my throwing arm.
Okay.
I got in a quadding accident my
Oh,
eighth grade year, and that
okay.
got me some nerve damage in my two fingers, all the way from my elbow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I had my surgery April of my sophomore year, and all the way until then, that's close time frame coming up. June is our football year. I was supposed to be the starting quarterback,
Hmm.
and then at the time, the senior center Richie Veneziano tore his ACL about like 4 months before. So Richie and we went to PT almost every day. We worked each other's butts off. Like we were there for each other, and that really really helped me with that process.
Hmm.
Um, and then junior year, our new quarterback coach came in, Coach Surrey. He coached at Wayne Valley as well. Um, so he came in. He's an offensive genius. He's insane. Like him and Coach Guy, our offense coordinator, they work insane together.
Hmm.
They really had my junior year planned out for me already. Like they knew what was gonna happen. They knew what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, junior year was crazy. It was awesome. And then junior year, coming into senior year, I started with throwing with Coach Sims at Franklin Lakes. Charles, and that's where I met my buddy Charles Suprema. Him and I are really close. We built a really good relationship.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, obviously, I've been a tall, skinny kid my whole life, so I'm trying to put on some weight.
Yeah.
That's what I'm working on now for college. And yeah, I mean, throwing with Coach Sims, hanging out with Charles, keep throwing in the off season with my buddies on the team. That kind of really put me in the right place.
I mean, that's a remarkable story and comeback, Ian. I
Yeah.
mean, for you to be able to overcome that serious injury and nerve damage, and be able to go through physical therapy and make it back onto the field. I mean, I think a lot of people out there are inspired by your story. I mean, what just because I mean, both mentally and physically, what it takes to not only come back, but then be at that elite level. I mean, can you just I mean, just walk everyone through that process. I mean, how you just were able to do that.
Yeah. So I kind of just like put my head down. I mean, a lot of kids doubted me, saying that there's like this other senior quarterback that was like, he was talking a lot of smack to me. I'm like, I'm really just like, I'm trying to get back from an injury.
Yeah.
So April 19th, I actually got operated on by Christopher Ahmad. He's the Yankee surgeon and the
Okay.
New York Giants like team physician.
Mhm.
And then I got to give props to Jordan August. He worked at TNT Physical Training, then he went to Closter Spine Health Center. Um, and he had me throwing a football less than a month after my surgery. It was May 6th. So that was like 20 days after my surgery.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, having Richie there in my center, he really, really motivated me. He picked me up every day. I couldn't drive yet. He was there with me the whole entire way. I was with him. And so I'll be honest, the first couple of practices, like it was starting to hurt really bad. And Coach Hard, he could notice. He said I was like throwing the ball with two fingers, like it was tough. And no, I'll be honest, I was in a lot of pain the first couple of practices, but I kept going to PT, kept doing my stretches, kept doing everything I needed to do. And by the time September came, we were ready to go.
Yeah, what was that first practice really that first game, that you saw action? I mean, what was that moment like for
Yeah, it
you?
was actually against Riverdale, like our
Okay.
biggest rivals of
Yeah.
the decade. We had the
Yeah.
Bird Bowl, we had everything.
Yeah.
Um, and it was one of like the most nerve-wracking experiences of my life.
Yeah.
Um, it was just like walking out and seeing like how many people supported me, not from being on the sidelines. Like it was literally awesome. And then the first drive, we got a couple penalties brought us back. And then the second drive, our really, really athletic slot receiver, Jaden Brown, number 8.
Mhm.
I hit him on a nice slant over the middle and he broke it free for 85 yards. And I was
Yeah.
just like, wow, like that just happened. So it was definitely nerve wracking. But after that, after the first couple drives, I kind of settled down.
I mean, it must have. I mean, to go through that season and said what you did as far as your numbers and being able to perform at that level. I'm sure by the end of the season, just knowing that you were able to, play through that full season. I mean, just to accomplish that, it must have again, felt really good, Ian.
No, it felt awesome. I felt like
Hey,
made my mom a little proud, and it was awesome.
you talk about quarterbacks here in North Jersey. I mean, how many great quarterbacks have come through? Said the county. I mean, as you mentioned, Charles DePrimo, I mean, to be, in that conversation, can you talk about that? I mean, it said, see others, again, being able to earn those accolades and, it said, again, go on to the next level. I'm sure, again, I mean, that must be comforting knowing that you're able to work with those guys even in the off season as well, Ian.
Yeah, yeah. So I know Charles, and I mean it's kind of just like one big I don't know how to say it, kind of like one big family.
Yeah,
Like if you see a quarterback from a high school in Bergen County, like you're not gonna have any like beef or like whatever, like have any problems with them. Like
yeah,
throwing with Coach Sims, I met Charles, I met Kyle McCord from I don't know. I forgot what high school he's going to, but he's going to Ohio State.
okay,
Um, a couple other kids from like Iona Prep.
yeah,
But I would have to pick out Charles. We met actually at a 7-on-7 like 3 years ago, and we kind of just follow each other's process,
mhm.
and it's been awesome. Like everyone's well respected if you're like a quarterback in Bergen County. That's
Yeah.
how I feel.
You know that quarterback. I mean, talking about positions on the field, he is definitely one of the most pressured. I mean, everything is on your shoulders. As far as getting everybody in sync, running backs, offensive line, wide receivers. Can you just talk about how during game time in that moment, how you've been able to do it so seamlessly and just it's worked to perfection. Can you talk about that process?
Yeah, so junior year, I mean, my brother, well, he was a senior, and I grew up with all of his friends,
Hmm.
Jaden, Sean Pampin, Kevin Renoff. So I was very comfortable from the jump
Okay.
with most of the kids, even though all of my 5 alignment were all seniors at the time I was a junior.
Hmm.
And I grew to know all of them I didn't know all the time. Like we were awesome. We had a great relationship. And if they had a question, they would always come to me about it. And I was like, all right, like I know what to do, so I'm gonna tell you. And it felt a little weird, like being a 16-year-old kid telling like some 18-year-olds like what to do. And then so that kind of set me up really well for my senior year because I was
Yeah.
one of the older kids, and
Yeah.
like almost everyone told me to ask me what to do on this one play, whatever it is, that step.
Hmm.
And I just felt super comfortable with all the pressure senior year. I mean, say whatever, I throw 2 picks this game, a bunch of stands gonna be blaming me, but like I know not all entirely was my fault. Like our team lost. Like you can't be pointing fingers on who did
Yeah.
what. But like it is what it is. I kind of grew out of that little like pressure feeling.
Yeah. I wanted to pivot to actually, before I pivot to the school, Talking about Coach Hart, I know you mentioned some of the coaches as well. Uh, you know what they meant to you, especially Coach Hart. If you can just talk about him and just be able to learn
Yeah,
under him and just the progression you were able to make as well.
Yeah, Coach Hard. I mean, he coached my brother who graduated in 2015 all 4 years. He wasn't the head coach then. We had Vito Campanelli from Bergen Catholic.
Yeah.
He led us to two state championships, 2014, 2015.
Hmm.
And I mean, Coach Hard, I mean, I've known him almost my whole life. Like he's always been there. My oldest brother, he graduated in 2012. So like big Westwood route for my house. Um, and I mean, Coach Hard has been the best like mentor I could like ever have in my life. Him and Coach Guy. Well, uh, point to next. Coach Hard. I mean, he's not like the loudest like screamer coach ever.
Yeah.
But he does so much for the team, and it's just like everyone's so grateful for him, and the amount of respect in that school for Coach Hard is insane.
Yeah. It just seems like he's brought that winning culture, said to the program, Ian.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had a losing season in 24 years,
Okay.
and I'm
Yeah.
sad. I'm very. I was if we lost this year, my
Yeah.
biggest thing was like, don't be the team to ruin the losing season for
Yeah.
24 years, the winning season for 24 years,
Yeah.
and we finished 500, so I wouldn't count that as a losing season. But 4 games can't do too much.
Yeah.
But the coach I would have to point out, like the closest to me, is Coach Guy.
Okay.
He was the offensive coordinator and QB coach before Coach Surrey came in.
Okay.
And Coach Guy, his first year was Nolan, my brother who graduated in 2015. It was his junior year, and his first 2 years at Westwood, they won two state championships. So he was kind of like, yeah, like I just won two state championships, but like I know that he's kind of like he's a clown. He's not like a clown, but like I can mess around with him because I'm very close with him.
Yeah.
I was just texting this morning. He's having a baby in a couple weeks.
That's great.
Yeah. So Coach Guy, like I talk to him almost every day. He's like another father figure to me in my life, and it's just completely awesome.
I wanted to pivot to the school. I know it's different this year with remote learning, but as far as the students, you mentioned your athletic director, the administration, and even the alumni there said as far as the football team is concerned. Can you just talk about the support, in those areas, Ian?
Yeah. So it starts out with Mr. Ravino. His assistant, Mrs. O'Sullivan, is like the best person ever. Everyone goes in there for like candy before practice. Like she's just like the complete goat. I mean, and all the way from up there down to the principal, Mr. Connolly, so supportive of the team. A lot of our teachers are coaches actually. Like most of our coaches teach either in the district or in our school. And I mean, like I talk to any teacher Friday night. I'm like, Coach, like Mrs. DeBlas, you coming to the games tonight? And he's like, yeah, why not? So like almost every teacher's come to the game, and it's awesome. So everyone's really supportive of us. But I will tell you, a couple kids get from other sports get a little mad because we always get the turf after school, and they're always on the grass because like everyone says football is priority, but I kind of just go with the flow. I do what I'm told to do. I really keep my mouth shut about that, but
Okay.
the support system is awesome throughout the whole entire district.
I mean, to you personally, what makes Westwood Regional High School so special, Ian? I know the graduation is still a couple months, whatever it is, several months away, but just what your feeling is on that.
I would say just the culture of like a winning presence is like throughout the whole entire school. I mean, and like we don't have one bad person in this school. From eighth graders that are still in this school because the middle school is being built, all the way up to the teachers who've been there for 25 years, who had all my brothers. Like I could have like a real conversation with anyone in that school, and all the way from the teachers, the principal, to the administration, even the superintendent I have a really good relationship with. And everyone's just like one like big close family, and everyone kind of supports each other, and we're kind of respects each other, and it's been awesome to go here for the past 4 years.
Great. Can you talk as well? I don't want to forget, of course, the town of Westwood, and then you have Washington Township also there, the support that you receive from the towns as well, Ian.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously youth football, we're from different teams. I'm from Westwood. I live down the street from where we used to play youth football.
Okay.
And we have ongoing like fights about what town's better. And we all know Westwood's better. We produce more athletes. We have a nicer downtown. But the township kids, they never give up on anything. So I have to give it to them. And we actually used to have, we called it a bird bowl where the two teams would play each other. It kind of slowed down now. But I remember my second grade, that was like my first year ever playing football. I had like a 30-yard touchdown. And I was so excited. I spiked the ball. Like I was looking at and it was my friends, one of my closest friends now, Anthony.
Yeah,
I played against them all throughout my youth football league, which is awesome.
that's great. Just have a couple more. I can't take enough for the time, Ian. I wanted to ask you also about the college process, how that is working out for you right now.
Yeah, so junior year, obviously, a couple coaches were really hot on me after seeing my film and my stats and what I did. The biggest thing with me, my sophomore year, my grades kind of fell a little bit.
Okay.
I missed a bunch of school with my surgery, elbow. I was going through
Yeah.
a bunch of other stuff. So that kind of limited me with the recruiting process. Sorry.
Yeah.
But my junior year, I picked it up. Senior year, I'm doing pretty well. So I applied to a couple schools, Bryant, Monmouth, LAU, I'm still talking to. But yeah, I mean, I'm still talking to Bryant coach almost every day and Monmouth coach a bunch of times. So I'm just waiting on to hear back from them, admissions wise, and then that's kind of where we're at right now. Just to have the grades kind of stall me a little bit. So if you're watching this and you're a freshman or sophomore, put everything you have into the classroom because that's the most important thing at the end of the day.
Yeah, I was going to ask you at the end, what your message is, or the younger the underclassmen, and of course younger athletes. But yeah, those are excellent points you made. You were talking about and I've mentioned this to other players now, the ability to have your highlight reels and film on Huddle and some of the other applications really expedites the process. In terms of getting your name out there and just to the colleges and universities and prospective recruiters as well, Ian.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I have the link copy and paste on my phone right now. I can send it to anybody that asks me for it. So, I've been up to Bryan a couple times, saw their coaching staff, saw their facilities, and it's really, really, really nice up there. So I'm also looking at a couple other options for like prep school for a year. So we're kind of just weighing it out still. We have a little more time, so we're going to get it done.
It's great. You talked about family. I mean, I said there's tradition, there's a legacy there with your brothers. Can you talk about the support from your parents and just? I mean, this is fantastic. I mean, just to see that continue, said with you as well. If you want to just describe that, before, of course, attending Westwood Regional High School, and now, of course, here during your past 4 years.
I mean, it started in 2008. My oldest brother Matt, and it's going to end this year, 2020.
Okay.
Been, 12 years over.
Yeah.
So, my mom, I have the most respect for her ever. She's done this a million times. She knows what she's doing. Otherwise, sometimes I don't think she does, and I get a little frustrated. But no, I know she knows everything about this process. She dealt with it with Nolan, with Will, and Nolan, Will, and I were both 8 years apart, and we were all captains for the team. All three of us. Matt didn't play football in high school, but Nolan was captain 2014 and 2015. Will 2019, and then me 2020. But awesome. I mean, being able to play with like that kind of like almost got like a target on my back even ever since like junior year. A lot of pressure. I'll tell you that. Will was very good last year, linebacker. He's actually doing Navy SEALs right now. And Nolan, who obviously played at Boston College, had a great couple years there, and his options are still open. It was tough, I'll be honest, but having that support system from my dad, from my mom, it really helped me throughout the way. And even texting Nolan after like last year, we're playing Lakeland. It was like an hour and a half, an hour, 15 minutes away. And Nolan's checking Twitter, and I connected with Will, my other brother, for like a 75-yard screen pass touchdown. And Nolan made a group chat while we're still in the field with my mom and said like, "Way to go, boys! Like that's how you do it. Good job." And my mom showed me after the game, and I was like, I had a big smile on my face, and it was just awesome.
I mean, it's something better than playing with your brother on the field. I mean, you talked about the pressure, but just how special it is. Of course, your parents and just the rest of the family. Again, I mean that's outstanding. I really enjoy hearing those type of stories. I mean, the fact that the brothers get to play on the field, at the same time, Ian.
Yeah, my mom actually had to buy a jersey where on the front it said number 6, which was Will, and then on the back it said 7. So I was like, what are you, like Travis Kelsey's mom, like Jason Kelsey on the Eagles and Travis Kelsey on the Chiefs? She's like 2 split jerseys in half.
Yeah.
But yeah, playing with Will, especially with him being my captain, I mean, obviously kind of sucked being like the older brother. We always used to fight, and I kind of have to listen to him.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, he never stopped believing in me, even after some tough games. He always knew that what I could do, and he never gave up on me. Him and a bunch of other guys never really gave up. So it was really cool playing with Will, especially with like throwing little screen passes to him. He's not the fastest kid, and he still thinks he's faster than me, but we all know he isn't. But no, it was awesome. He was a hell of linebacker, and I mean, it was just really cool being able to play with him.
What I'm so fascinated is that you guys, I mean, because all the football IQ knowledge that you guys are able to ascertain every year, I'm sure that came into use for you because, like, you're able to pick each other's brains and, try to, again, try to improve every year. Can you just talk about that, Ian?
Yeah, so I mean, junior year, I was like probably like 6 weeks into like the playbook. It was a brand new playbook with Coach Surrey coming in from Wayne Valley, and like we got to a point where like Coach Guy and I were like kind of like rattling off what plays to run next play, like even like after 6 weeks of just knowing the offense. So like everything that we learned from Coach Hart and Coach Guy and Coach Vito, where most of our plays came from Bergen Catholic. It was kind of like we call it the same girl, different dress. So we can run a bunch of different plays, but it almost looks the same. So kind of just like putting everything together and just like doing your 111th. That was like kind of our thing, junior. Do your 111th, and we will win. And if everyone did your job, we all talked to each other about what we should do next play. Like it was just one open book, and it worked really well.
Great. I had to ask you, just got two more. As far as the game of football, what makes it so special? Wearing that number 7 jersey, uh, and what that Westwood Cardinals, I mean, jersey means to you, Ian.
Oh, it means my whole life. I'll be honest. Like I have Nolan's jersey, number 4. It's retired. It's hanging up in my room right now. And I have my freshman year jersey. It's just like being able to like represent our school, especially in the football team. Like everyone thinks very highly of you. It's just a completely different culture when you're wearing that on. You feel way more respected. You feel more ready, locked in. Like it's just pregame walking around in school with your jersey on. You feel like you're on top of the world. Everyone's like, "Whoa, oh my God, he plays football." But like, that's probably not what happens in people's minds, but that's how we feel just wearing that jersey. And it almost feels like you're on top of the world just wearing a Westwood Cardinals jersey.
Great. I was wondering, as far as quarterbacks, maybe in college or the NFL, any QBs that stick out to you the most? When you're watching, this both those.
Are you talking about like professional and like college, collegiate quarterbacks?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I love Jordan Love. He was like the 26th pick this year, out of Utah, to Utah State to Packers. I think him and I kind of like a similar play style. He's tall. He's not more lengthy than me. He's more built. But like, there's just the way he throws the ball. I kind of think we have the same kind of mechanics. But I mean, growing up, obviously Tom Brady. My mom loves him, but I don't like him too much. But I mean, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, like some like the most like weirdest arm angles, Patrick Mahomes. Like I don't really have like one quarterback I could pinpoint saying like I've watched, but like I'm my own player. I'll be honest. I think I just want to do what I do, and it's been working so far. And obviously, if I ever make it up to that point in my career, I'm gonna take some advice from those guys.
I know it's it's football first. I was wondering if there are any sports when you were growing up that you played as well. Any other different sports, Ian?
Yeah, so I was like all throughout my youth and even middle school, I played basketball, football, and baseball, and I was really good. I was like one of like the higher athletes in like the class. And baseball was actually my best sport. I was a pitcher, and after the injury, I wasn't allowed to play anymore. So that kind of just like channeled some anger into football, what I could do. And that kind of just like made me have a little spark in the beginning of the season. In the basketball, I played freshman year. I decided it wasn't for me. So stopped playing basketball. And then baseball, it's that one thing I really wish I could still be pitching right now. But I mean, it's worked out so far playing football, and I'm actually gonna like golf this year in the spring
Oh,
just
nice.
because me
Very
and my
good.
buddy been golfing a couple times this past summer, and just to do it just to be here,
That's great.
playing golf.
Final question. I probably, we went through this, being a captain, one of the two captains, and then a senior, and, again, passing that knowledge and experience down to the underclassmen, setting that, example. I'm sure, like, again, it carries a lot of weight, a lot of responsibility, but you were able to do it. I'm just wondering, like, I said, for younger, again, younger athletes, the younger players in the team, what they could learn from you, as far as being able to assume that that title. And it's not easy. I said, when you're trying to play your position to the best that you can. Can you just talk about that, Ian?
Yeah, I mean, sophomore, freshman, even freshman year, freshman, sophomore, junior year,
Yeah.
what our coaches really like pounded into our minds the most was like, look up to the seniors, look what they're doing, because someday you're going to be in those like shoes.
Mhm.
And as a little sophomore, 15 years old, you don't really think about that too much because like, wow, I have like 2 more solid years, and I'll be a senior. Like,
Yeah.
but it goes by in a blink of an eye, all 4 years. I'm sure anybody else could tell you that who's been through it. And our biggest thing, our coaches kind of just hammered that into our minds, saying, look at what the seniors are doing. They looked at what their older seniors were doing and kind of just fill in those shoes and do it your way, but do it the right way. That was a big thing. And obviously having my brother there and a couple of the big kids last year kind of almost like paved the way for me my senior year. And cannot thank them enough.
Okay, well said. At the end on that note, Ian, thank you so much for the opportunity. Just been a true honor and privilege. Congratulations on your success.
Thank you so much.
And actually, you know what? I almost skipped over this one before we have to end. I got to go. Being a student athlete, I almost forgot that one. Can you
Yeah.
just talk about that, because that's not easy to do? You talked about it. That said.
Yeah.
You've struggled, but you're here now, and you're only several months away from graduating. I can't forget, asking you about that, Ian, about being a student athlete and balancing out the books and being a
Yeah.
football player.
Yeah. So obviously you're gonna sacrifice some time with hanging out with your friends on a Friday night for missing a couple assignments, but student comes first in that phrase, student athlete. And other kids might not think that, but like after realizing what I've been through my sophomore year, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be like a little kid on the football team. I don't have to do anything, whatever. But no, that's not how it works at all. You have to do your stuff on time. You have to take all of your tests. And I mean, that's like the biggest thing, student athlete. That's what gets you into the next level. You could be, for example, Jaden Brown. He was the best athlete I've ever seen in my life. Number 8. You could ask Ramsey or Malwa that, they know. And he had like a really bad GPA, and he wasn't able to get anywhere. I remember UMass was coming into our school. They look at his grades and he leaves, and they leave. And I mean, it sucks for the kid, but I mean, it's just you have to. I can't stress enough. You have to stay in school. You have to put all of your effort in, or else you won't get anywhere. And you could ask me, you could ask Jaden, you could ask a couple other kids. It's been really tough, and it would have been a lot more easier for me, at least if I had really put all my effort in sophomore year and your years.
All right. Now, I'm glad I got that one in. Again, Ian, I can't thank you enough. Again, congrats on your success there. Wishing you all the best, said at the college level, and, looking forward to seeing what you do, next year.
Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me.